Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to be taking a look at Josh's, what I call the smart collection. It's smart in lots of ways, so let's take a look at Josh's collection. Now, the first three that Josh has got here are all Jaeger-LeCoultre. Well chosen Jaeger-LeCoultres, I might add. Up in the upper right there's a Grand Reverso. It's a 976 stainless steel with a reference of 273.8.04. The thing about Reversos is that they come in, I think, three sizes. My wife has a little size for women. Then there's a medium size, and then there's a grand. On most guys, the Grand is just a great watch, the great size. Below the stainless steel one, Josh has got another one, and that's a duo in rose gold. And you can see how much of his wrist it takes up. That thing is it's a real manly watch, so to speak. Okay, I don't want to get into stereotype, but there you have it. All right, now the other one is one that is it has something in it that I usually don't go for, and that is something that will camouflage the time. But in this case, it's worth it, and it doesn't exactly camouflage the time. I think they've done a very good job with it. And this is the Master Control Meteorite dual automatic men's watch. This one is a, you look at it and it's worth looking at. I mean, it's a very pretty watch. There's sort of this gray meteorite background with black indexes and indicators, numbers and so forth. And it's got a moon face to it too. It's just a good looking watch. They have the day of the week and then the month, and that is a seriously interesting looking watch. I really like it, and like I said, I'm not a great fan of watches that have some kind of camouflage background, but the Meteorite, I think the way they did it is so well done that it's a really nice watch. So here you have three really nice watches and well-chosen watches. Like I said, this is a smart collection. These things weren't chosen like, willy-nilly. Okay, let's go to the next group of watches. Now, here there are three Panerais, I'm sorry. There's the in the lower left corner there, I put up the 1312, and it has the regular thing and the loom. One of the things, of course, that Panerai are famous for are the looms. And that one, the Marina, has a very nice loom to it. Nice, clean watch. Typical, and when I say typical in the best way of a Panerai. Up at the top there's this one was the 514. This is a very, very nice watch, and they didn't make a lot of this particular design. And with sort of, I guess it's sort of like almost a yellow orange on top of the gray. What a combination, a beautiful combination. And then in the lower right, there's a Panerai GMT. By the way, too, two of the Panerai have crown guards, you can see, and then one of them doesn't. I had a hard time getting used to the crown guard, to tell you the truth. I just didn't like the looks of it. I thought, well, they could do something else. But I've gotten used to it. In fact, I actually like it. So that's, I'm over that. But I also like it without the crown guard, and I think that the 514 is a good example of a Panerai without it. Now, one of the things with Panerais that I don't like, all Panerais are sort of the company, I guess, is that they have a mix of in-house and God knows what. Basically, I think they they'll stick in an ETA or a Solita or who knows what. But what Josh did, and this is why his collection is smart, he picked ones that have the in-house movement. Now, the in-house movement, I can tell you, is a better movement than some of the things, some of the ETAs that they've caught inside of them. Sometimes they'll put in the bottom of the line, a real cheap ETA. By the way, I wanted to talk about my watch. This is my Vacheron Constantin Historiques Americain 1921, and there it is. That's right. So wristwatch check. All right. So those are the Panerai. Is that this is again in order to you can get good watches, and a lot of times the Panerai prices, they don't hold their prices as well. And I think one of the reasons is people realize, hey, this thing, I can go to get a Steinhardt with the same movement for a lot less money. And but on the other hand, if you're smart and you do your homework, you can find good ones. And this is what Josh did. I like this. Okay, moving right along now. This is I always worry about when somebody takes my advice. This is a watch you ought to get. And apparently Josh did. Oh man, I tell you, this is advice I'd take myself. He got these 3 Panerai. Parmigiani Fleurier. Big difference, okay? Huge difference. All right, so let's take a look at these 3 watches. And again, 3 really great choices. First of all, up in the upper left with the yellowish dial on it is my very favorite Parmigiani. And this is a Hebdo de Mare Capella XL. This has an 8-day power reserve, and it was designed from the ground up. Michel Parmigiani designed it. Vacher, of course, made it. But if you look in the lower left corner, it shows the back, and it looks like, well, they had to use a lot of casing to keep that thing in. Well, they did, but they wanted to have the thing that's neat about that goes beyond the visible part of the case, and you have this wonderful movement in there. And one of the things about the Parmigiani, they have the anglaise, part of it, the chamfering or the beveling, is done by hand. And this is my Parmigiani hemisphere. And if you use a loop, you can take a look at it and you can see the beveling and say, well, how do you know it's done by hand? Well, there's 2 ways. One is not quite as even. Okay, it's even, but not. You see these human touches to it in the beveling. Second of all, the tips. You'll see the tips have been beveled, and you can't do that with just a machine. So I'm glad that Josh showed us the back of those 2 watches. You can tell they're brand new when those pictures were taken because they still have the protective wrapping on it. Now, at the bottom is the Culpa, the Culpa Grande. This is a great everyday kind of watch. It's an automatic. The Hebdo de Mare is a hand-wound model, and you only have to wind it every once a week. Hebdo de Mare simply means weekly in French, so that's where that term comes from. Now, directly below it is the Culpa Grande. The Culpa, that particular Culpa, I've noticed that people have discovered them apparently because they've been snatched up. They used to. I got mine, and it's just a great watch. It's a good everyday watch. And what more can you say about it? And Josh got a very, very nice one there. Now, the Tonda, on the other hand, this by the way, this is also a Tonda. It's one of their lines. The Tonda, if has an automatic in it. Now this one, the Tonda that Josh has, is actually, it has something I really like, and it has a micro rotor. This one, mine's got sort of the big rotor, but as you can see, they have the movement offset. Instead of being in the middle, it's offset. Like, what's going on here? Well, what it is that there's so many dials and gizmos on the front of this watch that the front of the movement has all of this, a lot of things that go beyond just this part here. If they open this up and you can see the entire back of the movement, after this part here, it's relatively plain. But on the other side of the movement, you see all of these gears and so forth to run all of the subdials that have on the front. Okay, now again, you can this is a watch with the exhibition windows. You look through those exhibition windows and you see a beautiful movement. Not only are they do they show them, they're proud to show them off, and I think that's important for a good watch. And the Tonda has a lot of different models that they come in, and this one's called the 1950, the one that Josh has, and they have a lot of, I mean, it's just sort of a round watch. But again, look at the back of that. Look how much of the movement fills up that case. Great watch, great watch, and they're running out. Okay, it's bad for collectors, good for the company. And they're finally being like, hey, wait a minute, you can still find some. There's one I'd love to have. If I didn't already have a hemisphere, I'd save up all my money and buy one. There's a place called Shopworn, and all of a sudden a bunch of them disappeared. Josh got them. that was where I got mine. And some other people I know got theirs there, and they're drying up pretty quickly. Maybe they'll get some more. Who knows? All right, let's go on. Here, this last group of watches, there are 3 different kinds here that they have. And there's a Zenith El Primero class multi-city alarm. This is a wild watch. This is a world, a good world timer. A world timer with an alarm makes a lot of sense, and that's because if you're traveling, especially business travel, you got to be here, you got all of these appointments and so forth. It's a very practical watch, and with the El Primero in it, it's a very reliable one. Now, down in the lower left, Breitling and IWC are 2 more companies like Panerai that I got real issues with. Fortunately, Josh is smart. You don't have to be a genius, but you got to be smart about choosing watches. Neither one of these has a outhouse base. Okay, they're both manufactured. The IWC is manufactured by IWC. The B35 chronometer is manufactured by Breitling. So those are good things to know. All right, first of all, the IWC is Portofino. It's hand wound 8 days. Now this is just like the Hebdo de Mari. Same kind of idea behind it. You got 8 days, and you can see the power reserve indicator at 9 o'clock on this one. And then at 12 o'clock, they have the small seconds. And you have these, this is a very pretty watch. Just good looking watch. It's a great dress watch. And I think dress watches can be used as what I call office watches. And this is something you'd want to wear every day. Something like that I would definitely wear every day. And it's good looking too. I love that watch. All right, now finally, there's a Breitling, and I with a B35 chronometer in it. Here's another world timer, and this one has a feature of it that I like in all world timers. And if you look on the 3 o'clock side of that watch, you can see this black semicircle. And what that is that they have them, different watches handle that in different ways. Mine has a little small things here with the night and day for 2 different time zones, whereas this one has a world timer. You can take a look at any city and tell whether it's night or day there in addition to the time. And so that's a heck of a nice watch. That's a very nice watch. I like it a lot. Well, listen, usually at this point in the review, I say, okay, this is what I would suggest. And I do have some suggestions, but they're not that I'd give every watch collector, especially someone beginning. But yeah, I guess it'd be good for a beginner too. The other day I was looking at some watches. I was looking at some regulators, and I found one by Vacheron Constantin that they don't make anymore. And I saw the prices of that thing range between $5,000 and I think like $17,000 or $18,000. Same watch. Both of them were out of gold. What a cool watch! I mean, it was like it's being a regulator. It's got all of these different sort of dial centers on it. But man, what a neat watch! And for a heck of a good price. Now, what my suggestion to Josh isn't to get that one, but look for watches like that. You can you look at this collection. You've got so many smart choices here that that's the fun of watch collection to me. Is find something that's really neat. I don't care whether anybody has it or not. I don't care if everybody in the world has one. I'll run down and get one just like it if I like it. And I got that sense too with Josh. Doesn't matter. He finds what he wants. Okay. All right. Well, this is what I would suggest. Go out and find one of these sort of gems out there that nobody else can find, because you've got the skills to do that now. So use them. All right. Well, listen, also, I'd love to hear your comments and suggestions and so forth. And as always, this is an invitation to subscribe. And until Friday, this is Bill Sanders with Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.